Hi everyone, welcome back to our page. Today I'm with my perfect little senior foster dog, Pearl, and I thought that I would make this video all about the girl herself and talk a little bit about fostering dogs and rescue and why I do it and a little bit about Pearl's story. I think that one of the most common comments that I see just around fostering in general, whether it be on my page or someone else's page, is, oh, I could never foster, I would get too attached, or I could never do that, I would be heartbroken, or I would keep them all. And I know that that comment is so well-intentioned. People mean that in the best way, and it's coming from good people that are animal lovers. But there's a creator on here that I love, Mythological Dogs. Everyone should check them out. They do amazing rescue work and advocating for bully breeds and rescues and have fostered so many dogs. And she put out a video about fostering where she said, how can you love something too much to be the reason that it lives? And how there are hundreds and hundreds of dogs being euthanized every day, and people love them too much to foster them, but at the same time, that's the thing that would save them and save their lives. So I think that that's just a really amazing perspective to think of it from. Pearl's rescue is a foster-based rescue, so they don't have like a physical location where you can walk up and down the kennels of dogs. Their dogs are all in foster homes, or a few of them are in boarding as well. So they rely on having fosters to be able to continue to save dogs. And if they don't have that, then dogs like Pearl do not get a second chance. And that's just the reality of it. When Pearl leaves, I will be absolutely heartbroken, but that's it. Everything else about that scenario is wonderful and happy. Pearl will go to a great family who is going to love her for the rest of her life and take amazing care of her. And also some family out there is going to get so blessed by having this wonderful little dog as a part of their family and to complete them. So that is a wonderful, happy ending, and that is so worth my broken heart. I love her so much that I would have my heart break a million times for her. But yeah, so basically, to make a long story long, that's why I am doing this and trying to push through, and I really hope that videos like this could maybe inspire more people to do the same thing. And you too can have your own little Miss Pearl. And if you listened this long, I really appreciate you. Just imagine how Pearl feels. She's had to listen to me record this for a lot longer, but now we'll move on to her story. So little Miss Pearl was actually found as a stray. She was just wandering alone with no collar, no tag. She wasn't chipped, any of that. And she was found with a massive tumor on her stomach and then another large tumor on her leg. So the rescue took her in right away to be seen and booked her for surgery to have both of those removed. I'll insert some footage here, hopefully when I edit this goes well, but of those tumors and what that looked like for her. I imagine that it took a very long time for them to get to that point and to get to that size, that she was not receiving the care she needed. Remained in the hospital for a little bit to rehab after her surgery and make sure that she recovered really well. When I picked her up, she still had her stitches for a couple of days, so I picked her up at the vet. And poor little thing was so nervous. She was shaking like a leaf coming out to me. You could just tell that she had really been through a lot. All of her hair was shaved right down, as bare as it could be. I know she doesn't have a ton right now, but she's been growing it out and she looks great. I definitely got emotional that first ride home with her, just seeing the shape she was in, and especially at her age, these should be her glory years that she is living out so happy with her family, and it made me sad to think that that was not the case. However, I have been working overtime to make up for lost time, giving her all of the love and care that she so deserves because she is so worth it. I think that seniors are definitely overlooked. She is such a joy to have around, but she's also really a pretty easy dog. She is happy to just cuddle and sleep all day and do whatever, but she is also great to take places. She loves to sit in my purse under my shoulder or be carried. She will just sit on my lap, sleeping, happy anywhere that she goes. The story is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started, and I cannot wait to watch her continue to flourish. If Pearl's story has inspired you, or if you have been thinking about fostering a dog, I thought I would just cover a few of the basics or common questions that you might have. First thing would be the finances. Obviously, taking in another dog typically is a huge financial undertaking and a big responsibility. One of the major benefits to fostering is that typically there is no expense involved for the foster. The rescue covers food, treats, medical bills, etc. They cover all of the costs involved for that dog's care. This is not the case for every single organization, of course. They are all so different, so I would recommend looking that up online. That information should be available to you ahead of time, but I would say that the majority do cover the expense. And this is great because I hear very often from people that they would love to get another dog, but right now they can't commit to that financially. Have the time and the love to give and the space. Fostering can be a great option to fill your home with a little extra love without having to worry about the financial responsibility. I know something else that people often wonder about is what is the time commitment involved in fostering? And this can completely vary from one night to 2+ years. There are a couple different types of fosters. So one would be fostering where you are fostering that animal until they are adopted. However long that takes, they will be in your care until they find their new home. That's kind of what is commonly thought about. However, there are also short-term fosters. This can be for a variety of reasons. I know one thing that can be common with shelters is puppies that are not old enough yet to be adopted out. They often place them in a foster home, but then once they reach that age that they're ready to be adopted, the shelter often prefers them to physically be in the shelter so that they can have as many eyes on them throughout the day of people walking through kennels, because puppies are pretty highly adoptable and highly adaptable, that the shelter environment isn't going to be quite as tolling on them. There are also always people needed to help out with long-term foster dogs. So for example, I travel a lot, and that is something that I talked to the rescue about ahead of time and factored in. And there are people that will step up and watch my fosters while I am out of town, which is great because otherwise fostering would not be something that I could take advantage of and help out with. And with certain organizations, you can even just take a dog for an overnight and get them out of the shelter, help them decompress. Basically, anytime that a dog gets out of boarding or out of a shelter situation is extremely beneficial. So whatever you're able to commit to, I would bet that you can find an organization that would be so grateful of that help, even if it's only a couple of days. And the last basic that I wanted to cover is how to get started. So I would look at rescues and organizations and foster-based rescues in your area, and typically they will have information about fostering and what that looks like for them online, or a person that you can contact. I also would not limit yourself to just organizations that are local to you, because there are many organizations that will and do transport dogs. My family personally had a foster dog from Texas up in New England that was transported to us, so that can be a possibility as well. The process is always going to vary a little bit, but I would start with doing research to find an organization that best fits you and your needs and what you're able to give. And I think there's definitely an organization out there for everyone. So just wanted to mention Foster to Adopt, which is something I would so highly recommend. If you are thinking about adding another dog to your family, fostering can still be a great option to kind of have a trial run and see what actually works best in your household. Many times we have something in mind that we think would be a good fit, and then when you actually go to do it, it's not the best fit. So it's a great way to see how a dog does with your lifestyle in your home. If you have current pets already, it's a great way to see how they get along on a more long-term basis. And if it doesn't work out, you've done something amazing in the process and helped another dog to decompress and helped get another dog adopted. And I just wanted to wrap up this video by saying that fostering absolutely isn't for everyone. And that is something that I completely acknowledge. There should be no shame around that. While it is a great thing to do, it is still a big responsibility to take in another living creature to your home. And it's definitely something that you want to make sure that you're ready for and a good fit for. And if you watch this whole video, I want to thank you wholeheartedly. This was definitely a really special one and a difficult one for me to talk about, but it's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I hope that we can use our page for good and making a difference for these wonderful dogs. And leave any questions you might still have about fostering in the comments below. I would be more than happy to make another video on this. And I just want to thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of our journey.